Hello everyone, I'm the Solar Gamer, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. This is point 18. I have a press release version. Yeah, so I'm excited to show you guys point 18. As you can already tell, there is some music in the background. I'm chuckling. Yeah, and it's amazing. There's music in the game, this ambient noise, and you'll hear the tracks as we go on, but yeah, the music is outstanding. Okay, let's jump right into the game here. We get some birds chirping. You'll hear some strange animal noises in a couple minutes. I think it's cows or something. I don't know. Either way, let's jump into the tracking station so I can show you guys what's new with Kerbal and the solar system. Kerbal got a massive retexture, and a lot of new land features as well, like this river, this atoll with the island in the middle, a huge desert, very large, other little rivers, lakes, what else? Mountain ranges. I think this is a little bit different too. Yeah, so Kerbal got a lot more beautiful. And a lot more explorable too. It's not like a dead world anymore, as it felt before. You can visit the desert, there are cactuses, and apparently there might be an Easter egg there. I haven't found anything yet. Happy exploring on Kerbal. Moho lost its atmosphere, and it gained a brownish texture instead of the red. There we go. It's all cratery and rocky and brown-y. It's beautiful for a rock next to the sun. Eve got a change as well. Eve is my favorite planet overall, but I think that this makes it look a lot more beautiful. It just looks more natural. There's a lake and a crater, which looks awesome. Different landforms, archipelago. It's just awesome. Just awesome. We're gonna have to revisit Eve and maybe look towards this crater, but that'll be in the future. So besides adding new textures to things, we have a new planet. That's right, Dres. It is the 5th planet to the sun, and it kind of reminds me of Jules' moon Tylo. Just probably larger. Yeah, let's jump on over to Jewel, and I will show you what Tylo looks like as well. There we go, Tylo, hello. Yeah, it's pretty similar. If this black was on the outside and the white was in the... yeah, definitely very similar. While we are here, though, let me show you guys the new moon around Jewel. It's called Pol or Pole or something similar to pollen because it looks like a pollen grain. So... yeah, it's very hazardous, very mountainy, and it just looks awesome. Okay, so let's jump out into the main menu again. Or this works too. And we'll jump into the VAB. Now we have a lot of new parts and utilities and all that good stuff, but the coolest thing is the addition of unmanned probes. So you don't need a Kerbal to control the command pod. And there are 3 types of this, the Probodobodine QB, and the, oh my god, I'm not saying that again, the Octo, as well as the Stay Putnik Mark II, which is obviously a reference to Sputnik. There's also a Mark II lander can. I guess you could just use that as a lander, like it says. Sure, let me show you guys some of the new parts. A big thing that people wanted, and a couple mods did, was allowed you to place command pods on vessels that already had them. So, there you go. Now you can do it. However, if you add a crew command pod onto, you know, your normal pod, there won't be any Kerbals inside of it. So you'll have to transfer them to use that cockpit, if you separate it or whatnot. Okay, so the planets weren't the only things that got retextures. There are a lot... what the... oh, I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. Okay, we'll just skip that part. We'll just go straight into the big boy. Yeah, so you can see there's little nicks in there. It looks more metal-ish. There are some parts like this one that have ridges and little lines through it, where like scar marks almost. So they've definitely added a lot of detail to the parts now, just to make it look a lot nicer. So let's start off with the new propulsion parts. As you can see, we have a large orange tank. Essentially what this is 2 of these put together. Yeah, it weighs the same as 2. It has the same fuel and oxidizer as these two. And I guess I should explain what that is, essentially. Now, while you don't have to do anything on your part, oxidizer comes in these tanks, and it performs the same way as it did before. So there's nothing that you have to do on your part to actually get more oxidizer. It's just that they put them both into the same thing, because that's what you need to ignite rocket fuel. The descriptions have changed as well, and it looks very, very nice and more detailed. We've got the engine power, we've got propellants, flame out thresholds, everything's at your disposal. So the descriptions have gotten a lot better. Let's just add this engine right there. What else? We've got very, very small rocket thrusters. Like, when I say small, I mean extremely small. Let's see. Yeah, it'll pretty much fit the Sputnik. So there you go. They're for probes. This next part goes along with that thruster. It's a probe-sized fuel tank. So let's bring out Sputnik again. There you go. That would be your matching set for the probe. They've added a round monopropellant radial tank for RCS thrusters. That's what it takes. It takes monopropellant, which is one of the 5 resources. I believe there are 5, yeah. And that just fits anywhere. Like I said, it's radial. Put it anywhere you want. We've got these cute little lander radial thrusters. They are much smaller than this. So it's not going to do good on a spaceship this size. But landing on the moon with a smaller ship is going to be a lot easier now, because you don't need these big and bulky radial... What are these called? Yeah, mounted liquid engines. Yeah, you don't need these. Throw them away, because you got smaller ones, so you can put more landing struts. A round toroidal fuel tank. It looks like a life preserver. I guess you can have Sputnik riding a life preserver in space, if you really feel so inclined to do so. And that's pretty much it for propulsion. Let's move on to control. You can see that they've done massive retextures to these SAS modules right here. And let me say, they look amazing. I mean, you can't see the insides when in flight, but look at that. The circuitry, it just looks awesome. Next tab is structural. They've redone all of these tabs right here. Pods, propulsion, control, structural, aero, utility, and science, which is the new one, which I will show you after. And as you can see, it looks a lot nicer and sleeker. So we had this part before. It's the brand adapter that fits on these parts and adapts them to maybe the smaller command pod, if you want to do that. But they added this little brand adapter right there, so maybe if you've got, let's see, something like this going, and you want to put a smaller engine on there, there you go. That's essentially what that's for. Or you can create cool designs, which you'll see in a couple minutes with my my space station. And it is fuel cross-feed capable, which means that this fuel will drain straight into the engine without a worry of adding the external fuel lines. There are 2 new radial decouplers. One is really far away, and one's nice and snug, just a little bit smaller than this. So now you've got options when you're choosing your radial decouplers. The other radial decoupler that was on here is now gone. It's not in the game. I don't know if they're planning on re-adding it, but I think these right here are meant to replace it, to probably match the smaller one right there. Oh god, what am I creating here? I'm creating a monster. We now have a bicoupler instead of the traditional tricoupler. It has 2 slots instead of 3. So you can make things a little bit more even. I had a problem with the 3 because it didn't necessarily mean that it would keep your rocket even, but with this bicoupler it's going to help out a lot. The decouplers got a little retexture. They're skinnier now, but that's pretty much it for that. They added a couple of different stack separators. If you don't know what a stack separator is, it's essentially, there's actually propellant in there, and it's going to separate this rocket from this structural piece right there, or a rocket from a fuel tank, or whatever you want. It's going to push them away from each other and away from this little ring, so you won't have any collisions. And these are smaller ones meant for probes or smaller parts. I am seriously, this thing is going to blow up on launch, I swear to God. This next part is a hub connector. You can connect different structures to these different points here. However, it's broken at the moment, and I can't seem to get it to stick to anything at all. It's not working. So that might be a little issue with the system. I'm not entirely sure if that's on my end or not. But yeah, so we can't use that now. But essentially, its biggest use is on space stations, connecting different parts together, or different modules, things like that. These steel frames, they don't look good on a normal rocket, but on a space station, they look absolutely great. And these will hold things together for you? Yeah, I mean, these are going to be generally used on space stations. I wouldn't really find a valid way to put this on any rocket. I mean, this is by all means not the way to do it. But why don't we throw these little caps at the end? There we go. This thing is going to fly. Let me oh, God. Oh, boy, oh, boy. They've got little parts, too, if you want to put them on probes. Alright, let's move on to Aero. I am going to actually skip right over this for now, and I will come back to this in the Spaceplane Hangar. So let's jump over to Utility, and there are a lot of new things here. We've got a battery bank and a battery pack. These attach radially. This with the node. And it stores energy created by either the radioisotope generator, which is right here, or the solar panels, which I can't show you an open one right now, but when I get out onto the launch pad, you'll be able to see. There is a new storage container for Kerbals. That's right, you can put this on your space station and actually have Kerbals stay there. So, I mean, really, you could do a space shuttle type thing. You can bring up Kerbals and leave one behind, maybe, and bring back the other two, and just leave this guy up there. You can also use this if you want to construct a base, maybe on the moon. Just put a couple of these next to each other with struts or whatever you want, really, and create bases. Alright, and here's the most important feature of this entire update. Docking. We've got multiple nodes. This one is a shielded one. You would right-click on it and it would open up. And this is what's underneath it right there. And these are radial, by the way, so you can place these anywhere. There is also a smaller one. Come on. The Clampatron Jr. And one of these. Yes, one of these. This is the space shuttle type docking part. You would open this up and a docking port would pop out this way. So you can attach this to your space plane. So that's really cool. Next up, we have a new landing strut. It is very, very small. In fact, it's not even going to make it past most engines. So if you're going to use this, it's really only going to be used for, like, landing a capsule or something. It's not going to be used for much. Maybe a probe, if you want to land a probe? Yeah, why not? Oh god, yeah, you can use this for a probe, but it's really creepy. Kind of like a spider. That's pretty cool. You can't see the legs because the launch pad is... The object is kind of broken. Here it is. Sam, there you go. Blah, 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 blah. I will destroy you. We have radial parachutes now. Just stick them like that. Oh my god, we're gonna explode and die. So the radioisotope generator, which I stuck somewhere, oh, right there, generates electricity, apparently through the exploitation of the natural decay of plutonium. Oh, well then, science. We also have a bunch of packed solar panels, unpacked solar panels, and just a standard panel. And these are different sizes for probes. Whew! Alright, lots and lots of parts they've added. But we're not done yet. Lights! They have finally added lights. I am so happy that they've done this. So we have a smaller Mark I illuminator and a large squarish Mark II illuminator. It's just simply amazing. Now landing on the moon or in a dark area is going to be so much better. All of my landing videos took place on a dark side of whatever. It's crazy. Last but not least, we have an ion engine with a xenon container. And xenon is what it takes to actually use the ion engine. And the ion engine has so low of thrust that it's really only going to help you with probes or maybe long distance traveling. But even then, it's just way too low of thrust. So yeah, I would just use this on a probe or something like that. Last but not least, we have science. Science adds a bunch of different mechanisms that you can put on your probes or science-y stuff like this. This is a communitron. It opens up into an antenna. I will show you that once we get out onto the launch pad. This is a communitron. It's an antenna that goes straight out. These two communication devices have no features yet because they can't communicate with anything. This right here is an accelerometer. It measures the acceleration of your spacecraft. This is a barometer, which measures the pressure of the atmosphere. This is a ravioli. It's either gravioli or gravioli. I don't know. Something like that, yeah. It measures the strength of a gravitational field. And this is a thermometer, which I don't think I have to explain. And yep, they all are functional. You can right-click on them, and they will work and tell you what's going on based on where you are. One feature that isn't actually a part itself, but something that is there and you could actually use in flight, is fairings for your engine. So, say you added this decoupler to the bottom of this engine. Look at that! It's automatically covered by a fairing. And when you're in flight, you can jettison it, and then you're good to go. So, now that we have our... God, we have our .18 test vehicle, I think it is ready to launch. Oh! Vehicle. Sorry. There we go. Alright, and here we are on the launch pad. Oh my god. That is a mess. Wow. Let's do a little cheat here. If you press Control, Shift, Alt, and D, you get the debug toolbar. And I'm gonna do a little quick cheat here, and I'm gonna hack gravity, just so we don't blow up when gravity is given to the ship. There we go, hack gravity, and we should just float straight up, or just stay perfectly still. That's fine too. Alright, let me show you what some of these parts do. So the communitron opens up like a beautiful antenna. Awesome. This right here is the communitron, the antenna. Like I said before, these parts do nothing as of yet. They just look fancy. We can toggle the thermometer, the gravioli detector, accelerometer, barometer, and we can get accurate readings. Oh, there we go. 19.33 something. It's not giving us what measurement. Right. Anyways, let's move on to the gravioli detector. See, I don't understand astronomical science. I don't get that stuff. But that's what it is if you're standing on the launch pad. This is the strength of the gravity of where we are. The accelerometer is not working because we're not moving. And the barometer is measuring about 0.9 in pressure. Fantastic. This is the largest solar panel. And each solar panel that unpacks will follow the sun. As you can see, it's turning towards the sun, so that it can reach full sun exposure. And as you can see, we're pumping energy. The radioisotope generator is running at an efficiency of 1. I don't think it runs any lower or more than that. This is the cool docking port. There we go, opens right up. As well as, oh, they're facing the wrong way. The aircraft docking port. Speed up time, Okay, it is dark and scary. So, if we look up here, we got lights, gears, and brakes. Now, gears and brakes only apply to airplanes, but lights apply to everything. If you have a light on your craft, this will apply. So you just click it, and the lights, come on, look at that. Now it is very bright. Are we ready to launch this thing? In 3, 2, 1. Wow, look at that. It actually works. Whoa, 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 oh god! Oh god! Oh! No! What? Uh-oh. Oh! Alright, quickly. Did I not put any goddamn parachutes on this thing? I didn't. Wow, that is a lot of debris. Ugh. Right. I know this episode is really long, but there's a lot of things to cover, so let's jump into the Spaceplane Hangar to show you what the new features are for the space planes. Grab one of the cockpits. Okay, now we're in the Aero tab. The biggest thing that's changed about airplanes is intake. You need to have intake on your engines. So, let's see, let's add... Actually, you know what? I've got a ship all ready to go, so we don't have to do this. It's called the Solar Surveyor. There we go. So you need to somehow connect this engine or whatever engine you're using, either the Spike or the turbojet, with an intake. You need to do that, or else they will flame out and they won't work. So besides adding the feature to actually use the intakes, they've added a radial intake, which you can stick on anywhere, and it should work just as well as this one does. So if you wanted to stick an engine on the middle here, you could do so. Oh, because you have an intake now. Something I should have mentioned when we were in the VAB is we have a large rocket nose now. This isn't going to do us any good on any planes, but on a rocket, you got a nice nose cone now. And you also have a nice little winglet. This winglet comes equipped with a control surface right there. This is a flap that actually works, so you can either have it as a tail, like I am right there, or you could use it for smaller aircraft. But that's basically it for the parts for the space planes. So as I said before, these two pertain to the gears and the brakes. If I press the gears, we'll just flop on our belly. But the brakes, you could turn them on, and okay, here we go. As you can see, there is an orange little light there now. But if I take them off, they are green to go. So that's pretty cool. They've added a little bit of lighting effect with that. And they are locked in place. This right here is an abort sequence, but I will explain what that is when we get into action grouping. So let's quickly just fly our plane here. The airspeed is coming in. We got intake air. And these engines are working nicely. I think we're swerving off the road a little bit here. Whoop. Oh god, I should have added struts to this thing. Oh god, no, no, stop, 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 oh no. I am so sorry. Let's jump back in here so I can explain action grouping. This right here is the space station that you will see up in orbit. I have some pretty cool things attached to this space station, and we have to go into action groups to view them. Okay, so action groups are basically a bunch of things that happen with one single key press. Now you can edit any of these, and so custom 1, I have assigned to the solar panels. You can key map these to any button on the keyboard you want. I have mine set to number pad 1, so if I press 1, all of the solar panels will come out at once. Number 3, I have the ladders come out. Number 4, the comm dishes. Number 5, I activate all of the different instruments. And for the abort, which that little button did, I have literally the abort sequence. If we're coming crashing down to Earth and everything is still powered on, this will retract the solar panels, retract the communitron, turn off the lights, undock the nodes, and deploy all parachutes so that the modules are safe and the main core is safe. And that's essentially what an abort sequence is. So you will actually get to see this in action, I hope. I haven't tested it yet, but we should be able to see if that works or not. I am now in space. I have the one station to rule them all. It's essentially what this is right here. This is exactly what you saw in the VAB. It's just in space now. So if I press action group 1, you can see all of my solar panels come out. Where's the sun? I think it's behind, yeah, it's behind Kerbal right now. Or is it? Yeah, I think that, oh, no, it's up there. Okay. What's wrong with this one? What's wrong with you, buddy? You're not moving. I don't know, he doesn't want to move. Okay, well, suit yourself. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. If you came up to the space station right now, activate the lights, you can see the docking ports much better. Well, maybe. You can't see him right there. Don't worry about that. It's just a test vehicle. Okay, so if I press number 3, you'll see the ladders on these structural pieces right here all open up at once, connecting from the docking node down to the core. Awesome. Now I don't actually have any Kerbals on here because I just put this into space, but that's alright. Now let's activate the communitrons. Let's beam home. Tell everybody we're okay. Fantastic. And there we go. We have our space station with a limpy solar array because it doesn't want to work. So I want to show you guys docking. I am not good at it yet, but let's see. Let's go over here. Let's decouple this. Quickly Switch to it. There we go. Turn on RCS. These are our resources up here. It's a new thing for flight, and it's actually, to be honest, really, really good. Actually, hang on. We are actually draining electricity faster than I thought, so I'm actually going to have to explain this part back on the space station. And once you get close to the port, it just starts sucking you in. And eventually, boop, there you go. You're attached. Now, I am going to do a series on this, so I'm going to have to learn docking pretty fast. And I will show you better stuff than that. That was just a little example. So, there's only one way to test out the abort sequence, and that is to get ourselves into a little risky maneuver here. I made this orbit really low. As you can see, we are only at 79,000 meters right there. And it's for this reason. I have to hit the abort button. Let's create a new stage, which is now something you could do. Drag that in there. And... oh, we need thrust. Let's see, our periapsis is coming in nice. 15, good, right there. That should be more than enough to get us into Kerbin's atmosphere and suck us in. Oh, there we go. The panel fixed itself. That was strange. As a last-ditch effort, the Kerbals that are inside of this little space station, just pretend they're Kerbals in there. Just pretend. They were supposed to launch a probe. And that is what this little baby up here is for. Like... that. Oh, God! Oh, sure. Yeah, there. Oh, there we go. And here is Sputnik. And this is an unmanned probe, so I can do whatever I want to it without a Kerbal inside of it. Sadly, I probably should have done this before we had a trajectory with the ground. But that is okay. Let's jump back to the space station. Okay, we have contacted the atmosphere. Let's do this now. Okay, we got the ladders coming in, the lights turned off. Are we on dock? Yep, they're on... oh, one of them's undocked. I don't know why that didn't work. Oh, dang it, we lost electricity. I'm not in control anymore. No! I should have thought that one through. The electricity was its own module. Well, that's something else. Oh, God. Yeah, that's the thing about unmanned probes. You need to have electricity to run them. I guess this is a good example of the electricity system that they've added. Oh, jeez. Oh, okay, there are the chutes. We got the chutes on the module over there as well. Whoop, 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 whoa. Close call, buddy. Wow. Okay. And... good. I think we're good to go, right? Yes, let's see. It's probably going to break up in the water. And I think I lost the other module, because it's not around here anymore. So it must have just disintegrated. Whoa! What the hell? Oh, God. That's... oh, God, that's awesome. Okay, well, I have one last thing to show you guys. I'll just leave this thing there. Harvester was working on this cool little system, and I will show you guys what it is. It's essentially flight planning, but in its simplest form. You plan the flight by adding a maneuver, and I guess the only way to show you is actually if I'm in orbit. So let me do that before I explain anything. Actually, I guess this is a good time to show you the resources. Alright, so liquid fuel. We can click on that, you can see how much fuel is being drained. It's kind of hard to see here, because there's so much of them. There we go. You can see it being drained right there, and where the fuel tank is. So that's actually really helpful. And then you can click on liquid fuel, hide the resources, and there you go. You got it there as well. Alright, yeah, we're not going to have enough fuel to actually get into an orbit here, so I'm just going to cheat again. Gotta love the cheat. Infinite fuel. There we go. We won't tell anybody. I guess the very basic summary for this maneuver system is you add a maneuver, you can change your predicted maneuver, you can change everything about your orbit as you would if you were actually doing it. Okay, so let's add a maneuver. Right there, good. Say we want to intercept the moon. We would have to prograde all the way to an interception point here. Right about there. And the cool thing about this is that once you get to that point, you can actually set another maneuver right here. Actually, you know what? Not right there. Right there. And you could retrograde to try to get a nice orbit around the moon, like so. And then, even still, you could add another maneuver to... Oh, it's over here now. To come in for a landing. Just like that. So the same flight plan that we have here could work on other planets as well. The possibilities are endless. This is amazing as it is. So, let's see if I can actually do this right. We're approaching the point in which we need to burn, which is right there. We have to go to this blue icon. And in 2 minutes and 38 seconds, we have to burn for an estimated 21 seconds till this green meter is depleted. And we should have the exact path that we have planned out for the first maneuver. You know what? Let's start burning now. We gotta wait until that green meter is depleted. And it's not gonna be perfect because there's human error involved here. As you can see, I'm kind of struggling to keep this in line. Oop, oop, oop. Oh, yep, okay. Well, yeah, it is pretty similar here. We've got a collision course with the moon. So if we burn for a little bit longer, it would probably be almost exact. So you can see how it can be efficient. It doesn't actually tell you how to do things. You are still in control, and it's going to make things a lot easier. Another thing I should mention while I'm up here is you can set anything as a target. You can set the moon as a target. These pink indicators face towards and away from the moon. And the prograde and retrograde face accordingly to that as well. So you can actually set another craft as a target, and you can actually intercept this way. But that is basically it, guys. I have discussed every single thing that is added in Point 18. I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.